this is Shadi. Today I'm going to be discussing Japanese Judo. And when I say Japanese Judo, as in Judo that is practiced or expressed by the Japanese. Often we talk about how simple they keep it, how fundamental. And today I'm going to be comparing a little bit from the 1964 All Japan with this year's All Japan and kind of see the spirit. But to me, I think it is still very much the same because the fundamentals are eternal. Uh, of course, things do evolve here and there with little aspects, but in my personal opinion, the core, the essence, it is still there. The mentality is still very much there. Of course, before we do any of that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my book, The Origins and History of Judo, a translation of a manuscript from 1903, available in both English and French and modern Japanese. And also, I'd like to thank all of you for hundreds and hundreds of copies already sold. So let's take a look at Sakaguchi here, 22 years old. It's the big guy fighting, and you could see that the gripping is almost instantaneous. You still see grip breaks, you still see some defense through the gripping. Of course, the difference in the size is gonna make the smaller fighter be more strategic with his gripping. Now look at this one here, Harai Goshi, and then feint with Harai Tsurikomi Ashi, and it's one of those rare techniques that you see. So he took a step, a big step, which made his opponent kind of flinch and try to retreat, and as he's retreating he tried to sweep. Now he did not score, but you can see he got the sweep and his opponent was simply just defending it, but it was beautifully done. And you're gonna see basically the same techniques in the 60s and of course today. So here they can still, there's grip breaking, there is a little bit of cautiousness, trying to defend. Here he retreats to get him to get close to him so he can go and shoot for a Moro Tegari. Again, failed, but still you can see the difference in strategies between a big and a large opponent. Now look at this Ippon Seoi. He grips it, but then watch what he does with his feet. So he first inserts his foot deep like Koga, but then he crosses his feet, which kind of like a dancer when they want to do a spin, they cross their feet so it creates that coil, and this is what he did. And then he turns his head fully. So these are little details that I like to watch, whether it is back then or today. But as you can see, the difference in the size. Here he goes for Ippon Seoi and countered by Ko Sotogake, or Tani Otoshi if you want to say. Now let's take a look at today. Again, same. They want to have both hands and also a little bit of grip breaking, but then the moment they have both hands, it's go time and it's attack time. And this is what I really appreciate about Japanese Judo. Here, same. Small guy wants to employ, going under and then attack. And here, through movement with difference in size is how you get some of the best ippons and the most beautiful. Very similar to how Mifune, when he would spar, he would make sure they're moving, and as they're either recuperating or slightly resisting, that's where he would go in. So here he would create this movement, a few steps, and as he feels them, like maybe on one foot or moving slightly, that's where he launches his attack. Something like Oguruma, Kataguruma, Ashiharai, and Sutemi Waza, and it's all through movement. And this is what I like about All Japan, is that the difference in size makes people get their opponent moving in order to get that ippon. And this is the essence of Judo. If you look at the Nage no Kata and what it's trying to teach you, it's trying to teach you that the way you create the movement and the synchronization between you and your partner, not only the ippon is more effortless, but it's of course more beautiful. And these are the principles of Kuzushi tsukuri and kake. And you see this only in All Japan because of the open weight. And I wish we had something like this in the international stage. Maybe you can do, I don't know. There's a million ways to go about this, in my opinion. You can do like under 81, where they can all fight each other, and then like the best few, they can go out and then fight the best few of the heavier ones, and then you can get. There's a million ways to go about it. And here, of course, you have some of your, classical judo elements, the jumping uchimata, and here you can see movement. And as he was moving, he tried to attack, capitalizing on that movement, but his opponent was one step ahead of him. Here, look, and was countered. So you can see these elements still being there even in today's age. And if I would say there's anything slightly changed or evolved, is now they're slightly a bit more cautious with the gripping, because you see here the two fights, they started immediately, just gripped each other immediately, not so much maintaining their own space and trying to enforce their grips while the other doesn't have any grips. Today you see this all the time, even on, of course, international stage. Gripping is more important to them than throwing, in a sense that it's a bigger priority than actually doing proper kuzushi, tsukuri, kake. There's a lot of strength being involved. There's Shido games. There is a lot of things all rotating around the gripping. But here, even not just the open heavyweight, the national championship before it, you saw even against the Abe siblings, people just gripped and attacked them, and it was truly the spirit of judo. And this is what I like, that it's in French is atemporel or atemporel, which is like timeless in a sense. And so you can still see the essence, you can still see the core of Japanese judo. You might have a little bit of tweaking here and there because they go out and compete internationally, but also against each other. But everything other than that, I still see that it is very similar. And I like this type of mentality because this is essentially what it's about. It's really, it's a life, not life or death, but kind of like, you have to get the job done now. You don't procrastinate. You don't just do things just to kind of play around or get the guy to look bad so he can rack up shidos or any of that stuff. Now, I understand that's the game and that's the rule set, and a lot of coaches, they want their prodigies to medal. I understand that they're representing a country, whatever it is, but at the end of the day, judo is still judo. And I'm all for Ono's critique about it was always about attack, grip and go, and now it's just playing Shido. And he said this right after the Olympic Games, so I can fully get behind it. But in terms of evolution or change, I would say it's still very much the same. A little bit more caution and reservation when it comes to gripping, but not that much, if I had to say. But if anything evolved, I would say the defense, because international players, they grip differently. They use their gripping to kind of unsettle or annoy their opponent differently than a Japanese. A Japanese, a lot of the times, I don't know if many of you have been to Japan, but a lot of the time the gripping can look like 50-50, but trust me, one is far more dominant than the other. You only feel it when you are yourself sparring, and that's the thing. I encourage everyone to go to Japan and get their butt kicked. Is one of the best things that you can do, and the best things that you can learn, just how someone just effortlessly move you and throws you. And I got the chance to get beat up by All Japan competitors, back in the 2000s and early 2010s, or they tried to qualify for the All Japan. And these guys just gave me an absolute beating, and you will never know the true beauty of Japanese judo until you actually go and fight some of them. So if you have anything to add, let me know down below. Don't forget to check out my book, This was Shadi, and thank you for listening.